Tyler, all right. Thank you so much for including your work here. Let's go and jump right over to your composition, which I have open in a separate window. And let's go take a look. Okay. All right. So as we've got some typographic issues, and I'll go ahead. Let me just go ahead and go through those, and then we'll talk a little bit about composition. So as far as typography goes, I'm really looking for a few main things. I'm looking for you to adjust your rags. I'm looking for the use of old style numerals or a reduction in the size of your numbers to more correspond with the general flow of the typeface itself. Right? Numbers by default are always way too large. This is covered in the course announcements in a video tutorial regarding old style numerals and or reducing the size of numerals if the OpenType menu isn't available in a font that you have chosen to use. Specifically, OpenType menu is where you access old style numerals. I'll be looking for a correct use of M, N, and hyphens, M dash, N dash, and hyphens. I'll be looking for appropriate use of small caps as opposed to all caps. And let me see, rags, hyphens. Oh, numerals, old style numerals, hyphens, small caps, all caps. Okay, so that covers it, right? That's really what I'm mainly looking for here. All right, another thing I'll be looking for is your character count. Now, my recommendation is to go back to week 4. Remember in week 4 we had that discussion where we had the 18 rules of typography? I would go back there and I would really start, open that up or print it out, have it in front of you while you're designing. Not only for this project, for all projects. So, okay, so this type here is, this is called reversed type, and it's a light color type on a dark color background. It's always a great idea to increase the tracking in your reverse type. It'll make it much more legible. Your character count is way too long here in this type selection here, right? Well, character count optimally should be between 50 and 70 characters, roughly, depending on the target audience. But I think 50 to 70 is a great ballpark. Right now, you're well over 100. You count characters by counting the characters, the spaces between, and punctuation. Those are all considered characters. As I said, you're well over 100 here. I didn't count, but I'm sure you are. That points to a second column of type, 2 columns of type. Okay, all of your numbers should be set in old style numerals or reduced to more correspond with the X height of the typeface itself. We'll be looking for that. Let's go ahead and go take a look through 18th. That TH should be superscript. Watch your use of italics. There's several areas that we should use. Several areas will be appropriate to use italics. My recommendation is to go online and search appropriate use of italics in body copy. Again, old style numerals or reduce the size. That dash right there should be an N dash, N as in Nancy. That separates two numbers. Okay. A and C, that's a great example right there of small caps as opposed to all caps. Organization. Okay, now again, I just want to reiterate that everything I'm mentioning here is covered in the course announcements in either dedicated announcements or I'm sorry, either in dedicated video tutorials or video tutorials located in other announcements. My recommendation is to go through those and then also go back to week 4 and go through that. Those 18 rules. Okay, the timeline is problematic because it's not technically a timeline. A timeline should be designed, right? This isn't designed. This is just basically this is a chronological listing of events. Okay, I know you have them in circles, but is there any significance between the circles and the front of the poster? And that's the best way to design a timeline, is to take some element off the front of the poster and transpose it to the back. This will create wonderful unity and harmony between the front and the back of the poster. It'll make for great adaptation from the front and the back of the poster as well. My recommendation is to try to assemble and design a timeline instead of just connecting a series of chronological events. The type in your timeline should be consistent. Okay, so in some of these, the type is much smaller than in others. Also, your rags should be adjusted. These rags definitely need to be adjusted, by the way. And the rags, like this rag, I mean, check your rags all the way around and adjust accordingly. Yes, definitely want to, theoretically, this is a widow. So is this. That's how you want to avoid at all costs any presentation of a word sitting on a line alone. Okay. So those really are my recommendations. I definitely would like to see this design, this timeline design. I would not place the type in a box. That creates a degree of separation. Right now, you have this propensity to want to put everything in containers. Okay, the image is in a container. The timeline elements are in a container. The type is in a container. The problem placing elements in containers is that it draws a degree of separation from the composition. We want harmony, not separation. Therefore, I do not recommend to place things in containers. Okay, so those are my recommendations. I'd like to see those recommendations reflected in your final submission, and which we'll be checking here coming up soon. But if you want to run something by me between now and then, please have at it. I'll be glad to make further recommendations. But okay, so if you have any questions on what I've covered in the last 6 minutes, or if I can clarify anything, please let me know. All right, great. Thank you very much.